I'm Bobbie Falcone, 32 years old, the youngest daughter of a family that never let me forget I was born last and ranked last. While the Falcones flaunt their spotless reputation across Phoenix's social circles, I raise my two toddlers alone in a cramped apartment, still patching together a life after my husband's death. Celeste, my older sister, shines on every stage our parents hand her, and I'm the one they call a burden when I ask for anything at all. I've spent my whole life feeling like the wrong piece forced into a perfect family puzzle, the one they keep around only long enough to blame. But even I never imagined that the night I begged them for help would be the night they'd weaponize family against me and ignite a chain of betrayals that nearly cost me everything. And it all started with one phone call I should have known better than to make. The overhead lights in the ER flickered. Not a good sign. The gurney rattled as the nurse rushed me down a corridor smelling of antiseptic and electricity. My abdomen burned, deep, ripping pain. Worse than labor. I'd passed out in the bathroom, woke up with my twins crying from their crib, my neighbor banging on the door. She called 911. Appendix. I groaned, sweat slicking my skin. Could be. Or internal rupture. Stay still, ma'am, the nurse said, pressing gauze to my stomach. Ronan and Serafina, their names ripped out of me like glass. They're safe for now, but you need emergency surgery. I grabbed her wrist. There's no one to stay with them. Do you have family? My hand shook as I reached for my phone. Call log.
Mom.
It rang once.
Twice.
The video connected. My mother's perfectly made-up face filled the screen, surrounded by dim lighting and champagne glasses. You've got to be kidding me, she said. Bobbie, it's Christmas Eve. Mom, I'm at Phoenix General. The kids are alone. I need you. Behind her, my sister, Celeste, clinked a glass. Laughter. Music. A rooftop restaurant. High-end, polished chrome and candlelight. Celeste's birthday dinner. My mother said, rolling her eyes. You knew this. I'm going into surgery. My breath hitched. Internal bleeding. I don't know how long. Oh, for God's sake. My father's voice cut in. You're a grown woman, Bobbie. You can't keep freeloading off everyone's time just because your life's a mess. That word. Freeloader. It slammed into me harder than the pain. I just need a few hours. Someone with the twins. Handle your mess, my mother said, sipping wine. We're celebrating Celeste. The screen went black. Disconnected. I stared at my own reflection in the phone.
Pale.
Hollow-eyed. Alone. You okay? The nurse asked. Ivy, I whispered. Call Ivy Monroe.
She's
the only one left. Who is she? Trauma nanny. Friend. Tell her it's urgent. The nurse, Jade, nodded and stepped away. Pain spiked. My legs trembled as the gurney jerked into pre-op. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Just one looping thought. If I don't wake up, no one will fight for them. Then the door slid open. A hospital administrator in a gray suit stepped in, holding a clipboard. Miss Falcone, I need your signature, she said. For what? We received a complaint. Allegation of child endangerment. Standard procedure requires us to notify Child Protective Services. My chest caved in. From who? She didn't answer. Just placed the pen in my hand. There's been a report that your children were left unsupervised. If you're unresponsive post-surgery, the hospital will initiate protective custody. My signature bled across the form. The pen slipped from my fingers. Behind her, monitors beeped. Overhead, lights buzzed. One thought screamed above the rest. If I close my eyes now, I might wake up without my children. I woke to fluorescent lights and a low beep, steady, rhythmic, like a countdown I couldn't stop. Sterile ceiling tiles. My throat burned. For in my arm, Jade stood by the monitor, checking my vitals with a face too calm to be comforting. The surgery went fine, she said softly. You lost a lot of blood. My head turned fast. Too fast. The twins, where are they? Jade hesitated. Just for a second. That second said, too much. No one's shown up, she admitted. We called Ivy, but she never arrived. My chest tightened. Did CPS? They're monitoring, she said. Not acting yet. But someone filed a formal complaint. From an encrypted email. Allegations of abandonment. The hospital had to report. I blinked. Encrypted? You're telling me a random email can do this? In this state, if it hits certain keywords? Yes. Heat flooded my face. Not from fever, rage. Betrayal. That word again. Freeloader. It kept echoing in my head like a curse someone whispered straight into my bloodstream. Get me a phone. I need to see them. Jade led me through side corridors, past nurses too busy to care, past patients in their own tragedies. She opened a security room. Dim light. 2 monitors. One showed live feed from my apartment. My heart stopped. The crib was empty. Check the log, I said, voice dry. She tapped a keyboard. Rewind. 2:13 a.m. The front door opened. A figure stepped in, tall, bulky, coat flaring slightly in the hallway draft.
Zoom.
The camera's clarity caught the shimmer of a gold chain. The Falcone family crest. The figure walked past the sleeping kids. Then, black screen. Feed cut. Static. A blank abyss where proof should have been. Jade's voice dropped. No other angles? Only that one, I muttered. Ivy set it up. Limited budget. Then came the slow click notification from my phone. New message. No name. No contact. Maybe you're not fit to be a mother after all. The room got smaller. Tighter. My lungs barely moved. They're trying to build a case, I said. They're making me look like I left them alone. Who would want to do that? Jade asked. The same people who think a bloodline entitles them to ownership. Families don't own people. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You haven't met mine.
Cut to.
Hospital boardroom. Gray walls. Stainless steel water cooler. Administrator Garcia typing slowly. I'm seated across, still pale, still aching. But alert now. Wired. You are not permitted to leave, she said. As of this morning, CPS has issued a soft hold. Medical clearance required. Plus temporary custody hearing notice, expected by tomorrow. I flinched. So, I'm a prisoner. You're under evaluation. Of what? She didn't answer. Just slid a document across the table. Custody filing. Petitioner, Ezekiel and Dahlia Falcone. Claim, emotional instability. History of financial irresponsibility. Children frequently left unattended.
Signed. Filed.
Stamped. Celeste probably baked the cake while they typed this, I muttered. What was that? Nothing. Cut scene. Jade wheeled me back to my room. Her voice low now. I've seen families like yours before, she said. The ones who smile big in court but write people off in private. Some wounds don't bleed, but they leave bruises you don't see till years later. The hall light above us flickered. A buzz. Then, Jade's pager beeped. She checked it.
Froze.
Your kids, she whispered. The neighbor just called the floor. Someone's trying to pick them up. Says they're family. Tell them no. My voice cracked. They're already outside. My chest punched with adrenaline. I ripped the monitor cables off. Jade blocked me. You'll collapse. Then I'll collapse outside.
Cut.
We reached the main lobby. Glass doors. Outside, a black car. Engine running.
Rear door cracked open.
My parents stood at the edge of the sidewalk, Celeste between them, phone in hand, perfectly posed. Celeste lifted her gaze, smiled, tipped her sunglasses, and mouthed 2 words. Too late. I turned to Jade. I need access to the hospital's archived surveillance. Everything we got.
Now.
She stared. What are you looking for? I didn't blink.
My voice like ice.
If I can't get out, I'll make damn sure the truth gets in.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào The Drive hoặc sao lưu vào Google Photo.
The server room smelled like burnt wires and lemon disinfectant.
Cold.
Windowless. Jade keyed in the access code. One misstep here, and we'd both be written up, or worse. Are you sure about this? She whispered. Sure ended the moment they filed for custody. The room buzzed alive. Wall of screens. Digital feeds blinking like a heart monitor going into arrest. Jade logged in through admin override. I hovered, eyes scanning. Start with last night, I said. She clicked. Footage loaded, 10:03 p.m. My apartment. Dim nursery light. Ronan curled against a blanket. Serafina flat on her stomach, foot sticking through the crib rail. Fast forward. 2:13 a.m. The front door cracked open. A figure entered, tall, slim, sharp posture. Pause. My voice cut through the hum.
Zoom in. Whole hoop earrings. Sharp bob.
Long coat cinched at the waist. Celeste. Jade blinked. Your sister? I nodded. I knew that posture. Knew that fake composure. Like she was stepping into a courtroom. Even her crimes had style. We watched her pace through the living room. She looked straight into the camera, then walked into frame again wearing gloves. There, I said. Right there. She placed something on the floor.
Dark.
Obscured by the couch leg.
Camera glitched.
Screen distorted.
Static.
Then black. A perfect cut. She knew where the camera was, Jade whispered. She helped set it up 3 years ago. Before she said, I'd never be mother material. Jade exhaled. Whoever filed the CPS report wanted that footage timed just right.
Cut scene. Hospital hallway.
My hands trembled on the phone. Ivy's line rang once.
Twice.
Finally, click. Bobbie. Her voice was strained.
Small.
Where the hell are you? I was almost at the hospital. Then I noticed a car following me. Same one from yesterday. Gray Chevy.
No plats.
I pulled into a Circle K to lose them. Did you? I think so. But when I got back, someone had broken into my motel room.
What?
I left the twins' diaper bag in there. They didn't take anything. Silence. They left something. Her voice cracked. Ronan's blanket. Folded. Like a warning. A beat passed. They know I'm helping you. I closed my eyes. The air inside the corridor turned heavier. You need to leave.
Now.
Disappear until I say. Already packing. She hung up.
Cut.
Back in my hospital room, I checked email. Inbox pinged. Law offices of Whitmore and Green. Emergency custody notification. Attachment loaded. Pages long. Language sharp like scalpel cuts. My parents had filed for immediate temporary custody under Clause 18A, medical incapacitation and documented pattern of dependency. They even included a photo. A grainy screenshot. Me in the ER collapsed, clutching my stomach. Caption. Unfit and alone. My name underlined in red.
Freeloader.
The legal trigger was clear. If CPS found me incapable, the judge could rule within 72 hours. They were moving fast. Too fast.
Cut to.
Nightfall. Rain tapped the window like warning knuckles. I stared through glass. The hospital parking lot glowed faint under sodium lights. A figure stood still beneath the lamppost. Black coat.
No umbrella.
Face shadowed. My heart skipped. I blinked.
Gone.
The lot was empty again. Jade entered, holding a manila folder. You need to see this. I opened it.
Hospital logs.
The encrypted email that triggered the report had an IP trace, scrambled, routed through 3 dummy domains. But the originating ping? Same zip code as my parents' neighborhood. Legal can't confirm, Jade said, but off the record. This reeks. Something pulsed in the back of my head. Familiar and loud. People don't destroy you with hammers, I said. They do it with paperwork and polite smiles. She looked at me. What are you going to do? I stood slowly, my stitches tugging. Fight like someone who has nothing left to lose. And I did. I pulled on my coat. The pain didn't matter now. The rules didn't matter. The only thing worse than being betrayed was doing nothing about it. If family is the enemy, I'll burn every bridge they've built. The courthouse looked like a concrete tomb dropped in the middle of downtown Phoenix. No holiday lights, no warmth, just glass, steel, and the kind of silence that swallowed hope whole. Quinn Navarro met me at the bottom of the steps. Black suit, coffee in one hand, eyes sharp enough to slice paper. "You move like someone who just had surgery," he said. I did.
Good.
Pain keeps you honest. He pushed open the courthouse doors. The echo hit like a gunshot. "Tell me again," I said. "Why would my parents go this far?" Quinn didn't slow down. "Because money makes saints turn into serpents." "Pretty sure mine started as serpents." He snorted. "Then this will be fun."
Cut scene.
Security. Metal detectors. A guard eyed my hospital wristband. "Rough night?" he asked. "Worst one. Phoenix'll do that to you." His voice lingered like a warning. Or a prediction. Inside the small conference room, Quinn dropped a thick folder onto the table. "Your parents' filing." "Full petition," he said. "It's a masterpiece in psychological warfare." He opened it. Page after page of fabricated narratives. Exhibit A claims you can't maintain employment. I'm healing from losing my husband. Exhibit B claims the children are developmentally delayed due to your environment. There too. They chew on Legos. Exhibit C, medical incapacitation. I paused. That one might be true. He looked up. It doesn't matter. The law doesn't care if you can't stand. It cares if you can protect. I exhaled through clenched teeth. Why file now? Because, he said, leaning back, your late husband's trust activates in 8 months. Primary guardian of the twins receives trustee rights. That's a lot of money for a family who pretends they don't need it. My stomach dropped. You're saying they want the trust. They want everything. Quinn leaned closer. In every war, he murmured, the enemy strikes when you can't stand up. The door creaked open. A clerk poked in. Hearing moved, she said. Judge requested expedited review. 48 hours. Of course they did, Quinn muttered.
Cut scene.
Phone buzz.
Ivy.
I stepped into the hallway. Her whisper was jagged. Bobbie, you need to hear this. What happened? I moved motels. Different side of town. Still saw the same gray Chevy circling the lot. My grip tightened on the phone. You're sure it's the same one? Same dent on the bumper. And when I looked out my window, her voice broke. Someone left Serafina's pacifier on the hood of my car. The hallway tilted. Ivy, listen to me, I said. Pack what you can and...
No.
Listen to me. She breathed hard. This isn't just custody. Someone's staging things. Someone wants you labeled unfit. I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
They're trying. No, she said. They're succeeding.
Click.
A second message vibrated. Unknown number. If you can't protect your kids, we will. Cold lightning shot through me. This wasn't legal maneuvering. It was hunting.
Cut.
Quinn drove us to the underground parking garage. Concrete maze. Flickering lights. The kind of place crimes were born. As we stepped out, a black SUV rolled past slowly. Too slowly. Windows tinted pitch black. I felt the stare, even though I couldn't see a face. That the Chevy?
Quinn asked. No, y whispered.
Worse. The SUV stopped at the end of the row. Engine idling. Quinn put a hand on my shoulder. Don't look at them. That's what they want. I stared anyway. A silhouette behind the glass lifted a phone. A flash. They were taking pictures. My pulse spiked. Move, Quinn snapped.
Now.
We rushed toward the exit. Tires screeched behind us. The SUV lunged forward. Bright headlights. Fast. Too fast. Run, he shouted. We dodged between pillars. My stitches screamed. My breath tore. The SUV swerved left, then stopped hard. Engine revved once.
Twice.
A warning. Then it backed up and vanished into the ramp with surgical precision. Quinn wiped sweat from his brow. Someone's invested in scaring the hell out of you. Or silencing me. Same thing. Cut scene. Back at his cramped office, Quinn dug through state databases. Your parents' lawyer, he said, filed a request to access your husband's sealed trust documents. That's illegal. Only if they open them. Requesting isn't. Why now?
He turned the monitor toward me.
Because if they can prove you're medically unstable or mentally compromised, they can petition to replace you as trustee pre-activation. My heartbeat pounded inside my ears. You're telling me if they get custody for even 24 hours. They control everything. The world narrowed. My mother's champagne laugh. Celeste's perfect smile. My father's cold eyes. Every weapon they'd ever used. They don't want the twins, I whispered. No, Quinn said. They want your life. Silence lingered like smoke. He handed me a printout. Custody hearing. 48 hours. If we don't flip the narrative by then, you're done.
How? I asked.
We expose motive. And if motive isn't enough? He looked at the door. Then at me. Then we escalate. Lightning cracked outside. Or maybe it was just my nerves firing. I stared at the custody petition. At my parents' signatures. At the redacted sections Celeste clearly helped craft. My fingers curled around the papers until they bent. They don't want custody, I murmured, breath shaking. They want control. And I wasn't giving them either.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào tờ giai hoặc sao lưu vào Google Photo.
Quinn's safe house sat behind a boarded laundromat in Mesa, the kind of place where complaints go to die and secrets go to multiply. Rusted vents hummed overhead. The air smelled like stale detergent and sweat. I stepped inside, clutching the custody petition like a lifeline made of barbed wire. Quinn locked the door behind us. Phones off. Battery out. Welcome to the one place your family's money can't reach. I sank into the creaking chair. The room felt too small for the panic in my chest. Start talking, I said. Quinn tossed a stack of scanned trust documents onto the table, some highlighted, some redacted. Your husband's trust activates at the twins' 3rd birthday. But there's a catch. I swallowed. What catch? He tapped the clause with his pen. Primary guardian must remain legally and mentally fit to retain trustee authority. In plain English, Quinn said, if you lose custody, even temporarily, they step in. And then, his gaze sharpened. Then your family becomes trustee. They'll control everything he left for the twins. Every cent, every asset, every medical decision. My stomach clenched. They knew.
Yes, he said.
They've known since before your husband died. The room wavered. My breath hitched. He never told me about the clause. He probably didn't want you worried. Men like him tend to believe love fixes what paperwork complicates. My eyes stung. He should have known my family complicates everything.
Cut scene.
The safe house door shook. I jerked upright. Ivy burst in, hair a mess, mascara smudged like she'd cried while driving. I moved motels again, she panted. Didn't matter. Someone still found me. What happened? They left something on the hood of my car. Her hands shook as she reached into her coat and pulled out a small object. Serafina's sock. Folded.
Clean.
Placed there like a trophy. My blood iced. They're sending messages. No, Ivy said. They're marking territory. A tremor rippled down my spine. Quinn grabbed his keys. We're going to find out who accessed the trust records. Where? I asked. He smirked. County Law Archives. The basement no one sees because it scares everyone who works above it.
Cut.
The archives building loomed like a forgotten bunker. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead. Dust coated the windows like frost. We entered through a service door. A clerk looked up from a bag of pretzels.
Closed, he said.
Quinn flashed an old CPS badge. Emergency audit. The clerk scoffed. That badge is expired. Still shiny though, Quinn said. And shiny means important. The clerk shrugged. Do whatever. Just don't unplug anything. We descended the metal staircase, each step creaking like a warning. Rows of old servers blinked. The hum vibrated the floor. Quinn logged in from a terminal. Look for trust access logs. See who pulled the sealed file. I hovered behind him, fingers restless, mind racing. His eyes narrowed.
Here.
Access from an external attorney. Whitmore and Green. My parents' lawyers. Not just them. Someone else. He pointed at the screen. Same day. Earlier. Another access request. My throat tightened. Who?
Quinn zoomed in.
The name loaded slowly, pixel by pixel. Celeste Falcone. A pulse hit my temples. She accessed your husband's sealed documents months ago, Quinn said. Before the accident. I felt sick. She knew the trust clause. She knew everything. Why? Because she needed leverage. The kind that destroys you quietly. A cold truth settled over me. My sister didn't just help them. No, Quinn said. She engineered this.
Cut scene.
A loud clang echoed down the stairwell. Ivy froze. Someone's here. Footsteps descended. Heavy, deliberate. The kind of steps that weren't curious but hunting. Quinn shut off the terminal. Hide. We slipped behind a row of metal filing cabinets. The footsteps stopped. Then a voice, low, male.
Find it, he said.
The envelope. Navarro was here. Another voice, female.
Sharp. Clipped.
We need that file before she does. My skin crawled.
Celeste.
It had to be. Quinn mouthed, we move now. We edged toward the back door. Suddenly, a gloved hand grabbed Ivy's arm. She screamed. I lunged forward, grabbing the nearest object, a heavy metal stapler, and slammed it into the attacker's forearm. He cursed, falling back. Ivy yanked free. We ran. Up the stairs. Down the hallway. My legs burned. My stitches pulled. Pain shot through my abdomen. I didn't stop.
Cut.
Outside, we dove into Quinn's car. He peeled out, tires screeching, headlights slicing through the night. My pulse hammered. What was in the envelope? Ivy gasped. Quinn didn't look back. A sealed paternity file your husband never opened. The world spun. Why would he have that? People keep secrets they think protect the ones they love, Quinn said. Or the ones they're scared of. I closed my eyes. Are you saying Ronan and Serafina? We won't know until we pull the hospital's archived copy. My breath rattled. And if the test says he wasn't their father? Quinn glanced at me, jaw tight. Then your family doesn't just get custody. They get motive. The freeway blurred outside the window, lights streaking like falling stars. I pressed my palm to my stomach, steadying myself. If the bloodline kills me, at least I'll die cutting it clean.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào tờ giai hoặc sao lưu vào Google Photo.
Courtrooms aren't built for the truth. They're built for theater. It smelled like dust and ink and whispered grudges. The kind of space where your whole life could shift based on which side of the aisle you sat. My fingers trembled as I tightened Serafina's ribbon in her curls. Ronan clutched my hand so hard my knuckles turned white. 2 marshals flanked the bench. Ivy sat 3 rows back, pale, unreadable, her gaze bouncing between me and the judge. Across the room, Celeste wore her favorite shade of courtroom smug, next to our parents, perfectly posed in their grief for cameras performance. Grief they only wore when a legacy was at stake. Judge Hartley flipped through the file slowly, like every page was made of glass. Behind him, a large screen buzzed to life. The video started. Security footage from the Trust Archive building. Date stamped. Audio muted, but damning enough. Celeste, shoving through a locked cabinet, removing a sealed folder. Then, the sound kicked in. A time-stamped voice memo, one she'd recorded on her phone without knowing Quinn had recovered it. She'll lose custody after the surgery. It's automatic. All we need is to stall the nanny. Once the kids are unattended, the state triggers guardianship. Then we file. Then we win. This is the cleanest way. The courtroom dropped to silence like someone turned the oxygen off. Even Celeste paled. My mother shifted. My father scratched at nothing on his wrist. I rose. Your Honor, may I speak? Judge Hartley nodded once. My family didn't just abandon me during surgery. They weaponized that moment to trigger a system they knew would disqualify me from my own children's inheritance. They used my body's weakness as a ladder to climb back into power. A pause. And they forgot one thing, I said. That love, not money, writes legacy.
Cut scene.
The verdict came an hour later.
Permanent seule custodie.
Restraining orders. Civil lawsuits pending. Full investigative audit into the Falcone estate. Outside, reporters waited like vultures. I pulled the hood of my coat low and held both twins close. We're not running anymore, I whispered into their curls. We're rebuilding.
Cut.
2 weeks later, Ivy helped me move into a small adobe house just north of Flagstaff.
Quiet.
Unlisted. She unpacked in silence until I dropped the envelope on the kitchen counter. What's this? She asked. The DNA results. From Ronan and Serafina. Her shoulders stiffened. You sure you want to know? I hesitated, then opened it.
No soc.
My husband was their father. Of course he was. Love doesn't ask for proof. It leaves it behind, in lullabies and giggles and crayon stains. I looked at Ivy. They used lies to try and erase him. But facts don't love back.
Ido.
She wiped her eyes. You always were the strong one. We just told you you weren't, so you wouldn't realize it. I smiled. Funny how the people who try to break you always end up sharpening your edge.
Cut scene.
A knock at the door. I peeked through the blinds. A woman.
Suit. Clipboard.
Badge. Child welfare. I opened it slowly. She handed me a file. You're listed as a potential guardian for a minor named Leo Navarro. I froze.
Leo?
That's Quinn's nephew. Quinn named you before he turned himself in. Said you'd do right by the boy. My chest tightened. Where is he? Foster holding.
He's 10.
Smart. Quiet. Doesn't trust easily. I nodded. Bring him here. The woman blinked. You're sure? After everything? Family isn't what you're born into. It's what you protect.
Cut.
That night, I watched the twins sleep, then stared out at the mountains. This wasn't the life I wanted. It was better. Because I chose it. Because I fought for it. Because when the people who are supposed to love you become the enemy, you become your own sanctuary. And sometimes, survival isn't a silent act. It's a scream they never forget.